Oh, here we are.
Well, we're still here. We've had so much fun and so many entertainers coming in. But Miss Springs has not said too much. Anybody got any questions for her? She's got all of the funny clips going all over America, all over the world. I think she's awesome. Uh, I'm sure somebody's got some questions for her.
I've got a question for Daphnique.
Oh, you just want to go get something to eat? Okay, let's go get something to eat. Okay.
Now I think Lee has a question for Daphne. Go
Um,
ahead,
yeah,
Lee.
Hi, I'm a comic from the UK. I just wanted to ask, like, were you happy with how you were portrayed in Inside Jokes? Because I know there can be a lot of editing that goes into those things. So I didn't know if you thought that it was an accurate thing, or if they did you dirty at all, or anything like that.
Hi everybody. I didn't even speak to everybody in the room. Hello everybody. Cause I
Hey,
was kind of like
sweetness.
turned. Hi, Miss Monique. I was turned over on my other side, facing the wall. And then when you said my name, I was like, oh, I gotta literally use my internet. So I'm back. So Inside Jokes, I went to Just for Laughs Montreal, which is a comedy festival, and I was a Just for Laughs new face.
Mhm.
And so that year they did a documentary. They chose a few of us, uh and it ended with following the ones that made it, and the ones that didn't make it to Montreal. It kind of stopped with their journey there. And I mean, I thought it was pretty cool. It's like what you expect to see, and what the editing shows is totally different.
Mhm.
Um Yeah, the only, I guess, reservation I had about it is the opening part. Because I think if I'm not mistaken, I was the only black person on
Yeah.
that shit, wasn't I? And the only thing I guess that ever bothered me is that they opened up on a joke that wasn't even in my Montreal set. Where I talked about me and my girl finding out all my girlfriends ate ass in Cancun, and they all had men. And so I was like, well, that wasn't even a part of my set. I didn't want to be introduced to the audience with that material in a car. It was kind of different. So especially when I saw my white counterparts being introduced in a different type of way. So
Mhm.
I would say that's the only thing that I didn't too much in particular like, but other than that, I thought it was actually a pretty cool documentary.
I can't believe nobody's saying anything.
You mind if I ask a comedy question?
You can ask anything you want to anybody.
Thank you. And I could pose this to the room because I just started comedy last year, new to stand up. And Dr. George, I think you're a legend. Monique also. And Tehran and Vinny and everybody that runs this room is awesome. But I think that as starting out, I'm having trouble like adapting to different crowds. And I was wondering if this was like, give me some practical advice. Do you guys change material depending on what kind of crowd you're in front of? And I'm not talking about race necessarily. I'm just talking about like colleges versus, maybe like a full family group or something. I'm just having trouble adapting my material to different audiences.
You're not having trouble because you're not even into comedy yet.
That's true.
You're just starting out.
Mm.
You got a lot to learn. You got to, oh my God, you just keep working on your comedy, just doing you until, because you don't even have a point of view. Supposedly, some people break the rules, but you don't know who you are until like about 7 years of doing stand up. So you got a lot to work. You just get on stage as much as you can, and you'll learn who and what to do and what not to do. Every night is a different audience. Every night is a new audience, and you will evolve if you want to do comedy. It's gonna be a lot of bullshit. If you stick with it for 7 years, you might be into this, but it's a lot of work.
Yeah, I appreciate that advice. I know I'm just fresh and like I want to stay into it. And it's funny because I just started
Well,
right before the
well,
pandemic stuff.
let
So
me stop you right there. Let me stop all of the new people right there. You can't want to be a comedian, okay? You cannot want to be a comedian. I gotta be a comedian.
mm,
Mm-hmm.
I gotta be because the bullshit. What you're gonna go through, you can't want to be. I want to be this. I want to be that. No, I'm doing this. I don't give a fuck. I bombed last night. I bombed yesterday. I'm doing this. I'm going back. I'm getting on that horse. I'm beat this horse's ass. You know, I'm doing this. I gotta be a comedian.
That it's funny that you say that, Mr. Wallace, because it was a room on here a while ago, and people were they were talking about like, when do you say you're a comedian, right? And they were actually discouraging people from saying they're a stand-up comedian, like, oh, you're not a comedian till you're at this level or that level. So I know that you get to a point where you're a headliner. You get to a point where you're like an open micer and stuff like that. I always felt like the day I started and when I decided to be consistent with it, I was a stand-up comedian, right? I started like
Yeah.
10 years ago, you know, and to hear comedians say, oh yeah, you gotta be doing this, you gotta hit these amount of stages, you gotta do this before you say that. I think what it does is when new people come up, it makes them insecure about saying the word because they feel like it's not enough time behind it or enough stages behind it.
Well, when
Well
you
said.
when you when you want to work, you just want to work, and when you want to be a comedian, it's the toughest thing to do out there. We don't have a band on stage. You're up there by yourself. It's just I always like to use a term I use on the show, Bob's Burgers. You got to have that in you, in you. It just got to be in you, and nobody can. You can. Somebody said it earlier. You can read all you want. It's just got to be in you.
Yes, sir. You know when I called myself a comedian, Daphne?
Yes,
When it
ma'am.
was the only way I could pay my bills. When I walked away from that 9 to 5 job at MCI and I said, this is what I do, because that's what I did. I may have only made $150 in a weekend, but that's what I did.
Mm-hmm.
I wasn't in that space of, well, this is, I'm a secretary from 9 to 5, but at night I moonlight. That's just in my humble opinion. You call it when that's what you really are.
Mm-hmm. You'll know when you are.
Yeah, yeah.
And sometimes that's what it takes. No plan B is just everything on that.
Come
Oof.
on, baby. Come on, baby.
No
Come
plan
on,
B.
baby. Come
Yes.
on, baby. Fuck a plan B. Fuck the plan B. It's the plan A. That plan B make you give up. It make you quit it. It's
Yeah,
just
you
that.
get too
Oh,
comfortable.
talk on it, sugar.
Let's not jinx the plan B. Let's not jinx the plan B for all the people in the room that don't know how to pull out.
Yeah, because I
That
don't
don't know
want
how
to
to
get
pull out.
pregnant.
Yeah, that don't know how to pull out the plan B. Let's not just say F the plan B. Let's just, respect plan B. Thank you.
Mm.
Miss Monique, I just really quick, Callie, I'm a comedian. I just wanted to say thank you. Earlier, you were talking about just being bold in saying no and why you said no and letting people and checking people for what you're saying no for. And it made me realize that I turned away an opportunity because I knew that they were offering better deals to other people. And I didn't say anything. I just left because I was like, oh, you're not going to disrespect me. I know my worth, but I should have said something. And hearing you say it, it made me think like, oh, I see these people still, and I really should have said something like. But I appreciate you saying it out loud because it made me feel like I should have had some courage to say it. And now, like, moving forward, I feel like it's okay to check that when it happens.
Yeah, baby. It's okay to say it when it happens.
Also,
But
you
you're
mentioned
also
that
at a different level than you're at a different level than Monique, so it may be a little more difficult for you.
Well, George, I'm going to tell you, and I say this humbly. I would go toe to toe with a motherfucker when it was $25.
Mm-hmm.
I can remember doing a show in Atlanta, Georgia, and my pay was supposed to be $75. That was supposed to be my pay. I done hosted a talent show all night long. Now, you know how our talent shows go, right?
Mm-hmm.
And it's a neighborhood talent show, nigga. So, this this going all night. It's all okay. We having a good time. Now, when it's done, it's time for me to get my money. And that guy looked at me and said, well, what you were doing was just auditioning. I said, no, baby. We had an agreement for you to give me my money, and I'm going to need you to give me my money. And he going back, it's just a little $75. I don't give a goddamn if it's 75 cents. I'm going to need you to give me my money or call 911 right now because we get ready to have a situation.
Situation.
So I've always had the energy of, I got to speak on it because if not, you're going to do the next one like that too. So when it even just as my humble opinion, even when it comes to levels, whatever that means, we can never get away from the humanity of inequality. So fuck a level for me. If you know what you're looking at and you know what you're seeing, if it's a duck and it quack like a duck, it's a goddamn duck.
Mm.
And you got to say, wait a minute, y'all, that's a duck right there. And even if you don't get the part, they don't call you back, okay. But I want you to know I saw what you did. So maybe the next one coming behind me, you'll think twice before you do it. That's all I'm saying, in my humble opinion.
Another business related statement you made, Monique, and some of you will get to this level. I work at a level where when I do a show, Monique, you mentioned the $25 and the $75.
Yes, sir.
I don't walk on no fucking stage until I have my money before I go out there. So this may be something you have to learn. You're working with these promoters when you come off stage. We didn't do as well as we thought. Well, that's not what the contract said. So get in a position. Try to get yourself in a position on your last night. Can I have my check before I start work? I owe my corporate work. I get a check before I say hello.
Yes. Yes. I agree. But you know, George, when we first got in the game, shit, we ain't know the rules.
Well, I'm
We
trying
just
to
was,
teach them rules. I'm
yeah.
going to teach them the rules now. I'm teaching the young
Yes,
kids.
sir.
When you get to a certain
Good job.
point,
Yes,
you know,
sir.
I get paid before I walk out.
Yep. 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 And be unafraid to stand in it. I've had promoters say to me, well, the crowd is getting mad. They'll be okay because I'm explaining to them that y'all don't have my goddamn money.
Exactly.
Oh, George. One time I had a show in Philly, right? And the brother on the stage was, I mean, he's a legend, just brilliant, icon. He on the stage, he's supposed to do 20 minutes, and then they were supposed to bring me up on the stage. Well, baby, you know how when there's 25 promoters at one show?
Mm-hmm.
So the first promoter gonna come to me and say, Monique, he can ready bring you up. I said, no, he's not. No, he's not. No, he's not getting ready to bring me up on that motherfucking stage. We already know the signal. And
Go
until
get
I
your
get it
partner.
for him,
Yeah, go get your partner.
go get him. So here come the other promoter. He harder than the first promoter. You know, Monique, we got your money. We got your money. Go eat up there. I said, well, if you got it, nigga, can I have it? We
Yeah,
can settle
exactly.
this right now. Well, then here come the big Indian chief. Here he come. Okay. So he said, Monique, I said, listen, I think my throat is starting to hurt. I think I'm starting to get sick. That's what's going to happen. So he was like, we got your money. So George, they came with a bag of goddamn money, baby, like we doing a drug transaction.
Exactly.
I didn't give a fuck. I told my team, go in the back and count it. When it is all there, give me the signal and I'll give that man a signal.
Exactly. Because that's way they can cheat you. Well, we didn't make as much as we thought at the door.
Come on.
But yeah, all kinds of excuses. So
Come on.
100%.
And sisters, for my sisters on this line, you can't be scared, goddamn it. Now I want y'all to know when I was saying all this shit, I had security with me with pistols. But please understand that with times I was by my goddamn self. You gotta
mm-hmm.
stand in it. You gotta stand in it. And when I walked on that stage, I told on them promoters. I've been telling a long time, George.
Put it in your contract. You put it in your contract. You get paid before the last show, or when you're doing a concert, a major concert, you get paid before you go on stage. And
Yes.
they're used to it. They know you put it in writing, and they'll honor your contract. So try to do that if you can. You'll learn as you grow.
And have
Monique,
fun.
Monique, you mentioned about you started loving yourself and you found love, and so did it really enhance your performance? How did it?
Yes. Oh, that's such a great question, sister. You know what? My husband said to
I
me,
am coming from the same background like you, where like we are all filled with pain, fear, repression, and so I want to use that, to say stories and make it funny. So I think, I can relate to what you have experienced in your life. So I want to know how love has changed everything for you, if you can share.
yeah, my husband said to me some years ago, he said, Mama, you're really funny, but you ain't touched it yet. And I was like, huh? He said, you ain't touched it yet. And I said, what do you mean? He said, the audience doesn't know you. They know you funny, but you've not let them in. You just stayed funny. He said, invite them in. And I took that to the stage and I invited them in. And it's changed my show because it's a freeing experience. When you get in front of people and say, I'm going to stand in front of you butt naked and let's go on this ride together. And that's what my show has become. So that's how it's helped my show, enhanced it. I would like to think.
That means you needed confirmation from the person you love, and that gave you a boost.
I don't know if confirmation is the word. Wow, I've never thought of it as confirmation. I think the introduction of it, because I never considered to let the audience in like that. Like I never considered to let you in on my secrets. They're my secrets. I never considered to let you in on my vulnerability. It's mine. And when he introduced that to me, it made me think differently when I walked up on stage because he said to me, he said, Mama, we know the greats. He said, you know Richard Pryor. You know his flaws. You know his triumphs. You know his fall down. You know you know him. And I said, wow. He said, let them know you. So I think the introduction of it was, I'm grateful for the introduction because had it not been introduced, I don't know that I would have done that. Or it may have taken me longer to do that, to get comfortable enough to say, okay, here I am buck naked, y'all. So I'm grateful for the introduction to go around the corner with my stage show, if that makes sense.
Yes, yes, it does make sense. Speaking of Richard Pryor, did you watch his latest video that was circulating where he said that I just wanted to, this is not related to comedy, but he said that everybody who goes up higher when they are elected or, they become a part of the system which is corrupted. What is your opinion on that?
They become part of a system that is corrupted. Well, what I can say on that factually is I don't know because I didn't become a part of that system. And I don't want to make any assumptions. What I will say is, though, you know what your eyes see. If it looked like a duck and it quacked like a duck, what is it?
Mhm.
Yeah, thank you.
Okay.
Speak up, Clubhouse. Come on.
George,
Good.
you didn't have to go to work anymore?
I called in sick.
Nice.
Hilarious.
And
Yo,
so
you're the best.
I called in sick, and so I'm not gonna go. I didn't even go get breakfast. It's 8:28 at the moment. I'm having so much fun. I'm not even sleepy because I go to sleep when I want to go to sleep. I'm on that schedule. I do what I want to do when I want to do. I just
Come
got two
on.
TV Zooms today, and I'll do that, and then I'll take a nap and go back to sleep. But knowing and learning all of these people, I got to meet Daphnique. Am I pronouncing it right?
Yes.
And I'm meeting all of you
Daph
new people. Lenny, I'm meeting everybody. This is wonderful for me. And so I'm enjoying you guys. Thank you so much. And I'm just like
Thank
a little
you. We're
boy when I
enjoying
was in
you.
school. I'm like a little boy when I was in school. I never missed a day in school because I thought I would miss something. So I'm hanging in there.
Babies, I'm going to tell y'all, for the babies that are in the room that can speak, to be in the presence of someone that we get a chance to experience while they're alive. And that's Mr. Wallace. That's George Wallace. We get a chance to experience him. It surprises me at the silence because if I were in a room and I could sit down with fucking Mom's Mabley, she would have to say, bitch, shut up. Because I would say, wait a minute, bitch, I got another one. Shit. Wait a minute, bitch. Give me because I would be so, I don't know, full that
Right.
that this person says, listen, I'm going to give you my time. I'm gonna give it to you. And not in a way of, yeah, let me go share my shit with these. No, like let me give you my time. So take advantage of this moment. And I mean, maybe you babies are all just shy.
Well, I'd like to jump in. My name is Demetria.
Hi,
I'm from
baby.
Houston. Hi, and you are also someone that I aspire to be like, to be as outspoken and vocal. I mean, in some of the situations where promoters not having your money, I've been in that situation and I didn't say anything, and I look back and I wonder if it affected my trajectory in comedy because I didn't say anything. And for me, I am silent because there is so much that you guys are saying. And sometimes when you stop speaking, we are ruminating on what you have said because I've been here for several hours and it's just been awe-inspiring to hear from George and everyone, young comics, older comics. Just it's been awe-inspiring to hear the information that's been shared. It's just been wonderful. And and to see you guys as artists that seem separate, but to be on here and see you as humans and individuals, it is in some ways a little bit overwhelming. And it's not, I feel like it's not that necessarily we don't have anything to say, but it feels like such a gift. And you just want to cherish it. You cherish, like I cherish this time and this space to listen to what you guys are saying and to then think on what you said, because you've dropped so much stuff in the hours that I've been on here. So much has been dropped into my life. Even though I'm doing comedy, but I'm pivoting into a different space. You've still given me gifts that I can use no matter what entertainment space I find myself.
Well,
And
thank
so
you.
yeah, so
Sister, I'm sorry.
that's okay.
What's your name?
Demetria
I'm
Dixon.
sorry, Dimitri. I want to say, can I say something to you?
Yes, ma'am.
I want to say thank you because I didn't consider that. So I want to say thank you for bringing that to my attention, and I greatly appreciate that. And I won't be so quick to assume that motherfuckers is quiet.
And
But I'm sending you a virtual hug, baby. Thank you, sister, for
well, thank you,
feeding
and
me
I send
that.
it back to you. I send it back to you. But no, there's so much, and I think that's one of the beautiful things about Clubhouse is that sometimes people drop these inadvertent gems into your life, and we call them gems and jewels. But it feels like that. It feels like I am awash in information. Like even moving into music now, I've learned so much about how to get my shit together, get my business together. How to,
Mhm.
which ways to move. It's been just something that, I feel like this is an answer to a prayer. This night, this space, this time right now, as I sit here, this is an answer to a prayer. maybe a prayer I didn't even know that I had. So thank you guys. And so it's not necessarily silence because we don't want to know. It's silence because you blessed us so much till it feels greedy to ask for more.
Yeah, I
I love
second
you,
that.
sis.
Well, the
Yeah, I
questions
want
are
to
not
second
only
that
the questions
too.
are not
As
only for me and Monique, it's for everybody in the room. Also,
Yes.
well, what Demetrius said is right on point because, like, I've been in here since George Wallace was struggling to get his mic going,
shut up.
since earlier, and it's been such a pleasure. Like, I bombarded him with questions. I think I got kicked off the stage earlier. And Monique, to be honest, I was just speaking your name in the group text with some homies of mine. And, we have these hypothetical conversations about, comedy and lineups. And I was just saying how, man, I would have Monique close out the show. And for you to come in here tonight, it was such a pleasure and a gift to kind of have you come in. Like, I've just been quiet the whole time, and just to speak on what Demetri is saying, like, it's been a pleasure. Like, if it was any other situation, of course, but to have you in this capacity and George as well, it's been nothing more than a gift, and I really appreciated just listening.
Thank you,
Thank you.
Marcus.
Thank you.
I'd like to say something if that's all right. First,
Yes.
first of all, it's awesome being in the same room listening to you guys. First of all, Daphnique, um, we did a show years ago back in like Anaheim or something like that. I love what you're doing. It's cool when I see my friends repost your videos. It's cool to say like, hey, I know her. She's awesome. Uh, Monique, I loved whenever you stood up for yourself. When you felt the money wasn't right. It's it's good to see it's good to see comics, entertainers, have respect for themselves and say, hey, this needs to be worked on. Um, George, I don't know if I'm sure you know this, but so many comics were in awe of what you did in Vegas and how you kind of ran your thing there for so many years. And I was always curious about how that came about.
Well, that came about me always doing everything. When I got out of college, like I said, I sold rags and I sold on commission. Everything I've ever done since high school was on commission. And then when I got to Las Vegas, I said, I'm gonna. I had a promoter, and he wasn't promoting right. I said, you know what? I know how to advertise from the advertising world. I'm going to promote my own show, and I didn't take any money for 1 year. I put it all back out in the street, running a business for advertising. As you noticed when you went to Las Vegas a few years back, I had more advertising in Las Vegas than anybody, any hotel, any show. And I learned how to do that. And because I was an advertising specialist, some of you don't know this, I was vice president of the world's largest outdoor advertising agency in New York City. Still today, all of the spectaculars at Times Square, I was vice president of that company. So I know how to promote myself. So I went to Las Vegas for 30 days, 60 days, 90 days, didn't take any money for a year and put the money back in the street. And it takes time to grow. It takes time to grow. And I just always believed in myself, never thought anything different. It's supposed to happen. It did happen. I wanted to do a lot of things. I brought in entertainers like Sly and the Family Stone. People hadn't seen him in 25 years. I had him at the show. Jennifer Holliday, War. I just brought in all kinds of people, and it became the new show. That's why they started calling me the new Mr. Vegas. Everybody would come in. Aretha Franklin would come in, and had a great experience. A man was talking about my mama one night at a show, and I said, "How about your big fat ass mama?" And out of nowhere, Aretha Franklin says, "Hold on, there's my son you talking to." And I said, "Oh shit." That's Aretha Franklin going, "Oh shit." And then another man said, "And George Wallace, your mama started." I said, "How about your ugly ass mama?" She said, "That's my other son." So it's just so learning how to do the show in Las Vegas was just great. And I'm still there, I'm still at the Westgate. I still own the show. Um, I've just been blessed to do what I want to do. The song says I did it my way, and God bless me, and God bless everybody. Thank y'all for y'all support and everything like that. If there's any way I can help you do it, it's a hard thing to do. You got to want to work. Like I say, like I said, I went to a lot of footwork, being a black guy in Las Vegas also. working against all the odds. So all of that comes back to play.
Yeah,
Systemic racism still in Las Vegas.
Mm.
Yeah, I love seeing
Yes.
entertainers take control of the situation. What you did was an inspiration to a lot of entertainers, and just want to make sure people recognize the hustle you put in and the effort and the belief in yourself, and that's super vital in what we're in with the opportunities we have now.
Right.
Hey, Ms. Wallace, I got a question.
Go ahead, sir.
Yeah, so I'm interested to know just like your process of coming up with jokes and just like your daily rituals that you kind of go through.
Yes, sir. Oh, you want to know what do I do? I watch CNN. I got to turn the TV on in a few minutes. It's on already. I just go along with what's happening and what hits me. I was just thinking, just trying to write jokes. I don't know whether it's going to be funny or not. I was still complaining about the holidays, Christmas season, and I want to know how to complain. I want to how do I yelp Santa Claus? Because how do you complain about Santa Claus? I wasn't completely satisfied with his services this year, so I'm trying to make this funny, and that's all I do is sit down and write this. Because he was, I heard the noise, Monique. I heard the noise out on my balcony Christmas Eve, right?
Hmm.
And I'm going, who the hell is this making all this noise out there? And I went out there, and there's Santa out there dropping off, and he dropped off a gift from a friend of mine named Myra J. So I said, well, what the fuck you drop? That's your job. Don't be dropping shit off over here. That's Santa Claus' job to drop shit off at the place where you know where everybody lives. Don't drop shit off over here for me to drop. So I'm complaining about that, and they're making all that damn noise out there, and the reindeers got old and fat and shit. So I'm so I just wake up and start writing shit out of nowhere. I don't know whether it's gonna be funny or what. And I just put it on my yellow pad, and I just love writing jokes, man. I
Mm.
just love writing jokes. Anything. Right now we're dealing with COVID, and I haven't been out of my house, like I said, a lot. And my feet, I never knew. I haven't had a pedicure, and uh, uh, well, when I do get a pedicure, it's gonna be like just writing shit down. I think I'm gonna have to go down to Home Depot and get
Mm-mm.
like some sandpaper, jackhammer,
Home
and shit
Depot.
like that. And so you just writing down. You just constantly writing. Just try to come up with something funny. I don't know what is gonna be funny on stage or not, but I'm gonna do it.
And do you have like a consistent schedule? Like, do you just say like, is it only in the mornings that you write, or do you have like a routine that you
Yeah, I
kind of
can tell
just?
you I got a routine. You write jokes 24/7, 365,
Mm,
Mm.
all day.
Mhm.
Every time you wake
Mhm.
up, you see it go to a funeral. You watch the news. How can that be funny? We're going to
Mhm.
right now, and I'm talking about Joe Biden. I like him, but he pissing me off. He ain't said shit funny to me. See, I'm doing with Joe Biden. He come up using a 4-letter word like plan. That shit ain't funny. Plan. That's funny, but I ain't making no money on it.
yeah.
So I'm doing all of that stuff with a plan. Joe Biden doing good shit, walking into the place with a talking about COVID's with a COVID's team, got doctors and infectious disease specialists and scientists, and he ain't walking there with his family members and some guy from mypillow.com shit and stuff like that. I don't know. We just had a work session. We were talking about the workouts. We just did it. You guys are helping me out with that. So that's how my writing routine is. Anything and everything and whatever can be funny. And I come out of the advertising world, so I definitely, in particular, pay attention to the commercials. I definitely like that. So if you do
Oh,
something stupid and shit on television, I didn't understand anything on the Super Bowl. As I said uh, about the weekend, watching the halftime show, and I just tweeted out, well, maybe next weekend, but this weekend not working.
Yeah,
So
as Canadians, we blame the sound mix.
Oh.
The sound mix was bad. The sound mix was bad. Absolutely.
so that's my writing routine. So anything and
wow,
everything.
that's dope. And then I know you said like you came from the advertising world. Like, how did that have like a big like shape your perspective as far as like the way you approach comedy? I imagine there's a lot of like gems you learned.
No,
You know.
nothing. I wanted to be a comedian since I was 6 years old. That was my goal and my journey all along. I was just doing everything I could to make some money so I can have a financial cushion. Like I said, I sold rags when I first got out of college. I have 3 degrees, but I always wanted to be a comedian since I was 6 years old. I sold rags for Cleveland Cotton Products, and I left rags. Went to I was selling rags to the automotive shop at the bus companies in New York City, and I found out somebody was making $75,000 a year in advertising. So I said, I'm going to go sell advertising for a while. Start selling those signs at Times Square and all the 5,000 buses in New York. So people said to me, "You're going to quit $75,000 job to tell some jokes," and that was back in 1976. I don't care about the money, man. I got to go on stage and make these people laugh, because when you see happy people, it makes me happier. And like I said, what a drug, what a blessing I got. If I die tomorrow, the world owes me nothing, man. I love to go up on stage and see people come from all over the world to see my black ass, and I don't even know who they are. Get out of here.
Come on. Yes.
As they say at old church, you better say that.
You better say that. And don't mention church either, because I got a lot of jokes. If you go to church, you got to laugh. All the shit that goes on in the church. You know what? And Monique, I told everybody I'm trying to be a clean comedian all my life, and it just hit me 2 years ago. Everybody I know in the church cuss.
Come on.
Everybody I know in the church, and I'm trying to be clean.
The pastor's first.
The ones that cuss are the clean ones.
Why you playing?
And I don't think I should say shit else. The ones that cuss are the motherfucking clean ones.
Yeah.
I like these motherfucking words. George, listen, shit. I like it. God damn. Yeah. What does that mean? Who the fuck invented that? Who came up with clean comics?
Well, you couldn't, because of television back in the day. You couldn't say, because the wife and the husband, remember back in the day, the wife and the husband couldn't even sleep in the same bed. So you couldn't curse on TV. You had 3 stations, ABC, NBC, and CBS. So we had to gradually move into Def Comedy Jam when they hit HBO, brother, when people had a vehicle, an avenue to express themselves a little more. I still don't cuss a lot. I take words and I use the word the rapper, waka flocka. That's my curse word. Like I said, I saw my bishop at church. I said, "Look at this waka flocka, waka." So I try to, I just try to have fun, but I'm cussing a little more. Sinbad said it's time to cuss.
Oh, George.
It's time to cuss.
I love it. I love it. Okay. I love it. And I'm going to own it.
It's time.
I love it too.
Whole goddamn career since I got started. Oh, you can't say that. You can't. Oh, fuck that. See, when I just said fuck that, it's something about my tingle.
Felt good to you.
Oh, nigga, yes indeed. I like them fucking words. They're good. They're good for your soul.
Well, it does feel good sometimes when it comes out right.
Yes. Sometimes it come out right.
I used the word fuck only one time on stage, and it felt so good to use it. I was doing a joke about morning breath, and I wanted to know, what the hell happens in your mouth in the middle of the night? You go to bed with regular breath. What the fuck happens in? I'm sorry, you guys, but when you write jokes, you just like to do them. What the fuck happens in your mouth?
Yes. And if your shit ain't funny to you, it's not going to be funny to them.
Exactly.
So if you ain't laughing at your own shit, no, well, hey.
Exactly. And y'all hear the other part of that joke sometimes. What the fuck? I think all the bed bugs get together around 3 or 4 o'clock in the morning and say, "Let's just go shit in his mouth."
Oh my goodness.
So, and that's what comedians should do. You should, you guys, anybody got a joke you want to work on? The workshop is open.
Yo, we got legends in here, man. George, I don't even know how you're doing it, man. I've toughened this out for the past 5 hours because of you and Tehran and now Monique. Like, this is crazy.
Isn't it wonderful?
It's beautiful, man.
Your money,
I'm
you're
grateful.
still here. Your money, you spoke up earlier. Good to hear from you again. God bless you. Still here.
I'm grateful, man. I'm here. I'm soaking it in. I'm in full gratitude. Queen Monique here with us now. Rodney just joined. I mean, this is just dope. Shout out to Tehran. He's been holding it down for the past, I don't know,
Tehran
12
took
hours
a nap.
maybe.
Tehran took a nap. He went away and took a nap. He's not with us right now. I took
Yeah,
a
a lot
coffee
of
break.
people are napping. They're just stickers right now.
Well, my sweet babies, I thank y'all for having me today. It was such a great time. It was such a great
Pleasure.
time. I'm going to go do
You
some mommy time right now.
I know you ain't about to hang up.
do
Thank
that.
She's been on
Hey,
there for 2 hours.
Thank you.
hey, my baby.
I can't believe I just woke up to Monique's voice. I love you, Monique.
I love you back, sis. I love all of y'all babies. Keep going. Keep making them laugh. Laughter heals the world.
Will you be back, Monique, soon?
Will I be back soon?
Yes.
If my father let me come back. What you say, Daddy?
Asha, make sure you hit the bell button when you follow her so you know anytime she's on.
She
Hey,
said,
George.
whatever. I'm her daddy. If I never talk to y'all again in life, it's gonna be too damn soon for me. Wait a second, I heard a voice. I heard a laughter. Is Rodney? That sounds like Rodney. Is he here?
Yes, sir. How are you,
Yeah.
Mr. George?
Oh my God, I don't see his face like something, but I know the laughter. You know.
Wow.
Also, we got another legend just popped in. Y'all got some. He's
You
got
got a
answers.
PTR, Mr. Wallace.
He's got answers, y'all. He's got answers, so y'all can start all over again.
Wow. Hey, can I ask a question for Monique and George before y'all go?
Yes,
Yes, sir.
sir.
Yeah.
Who was y'all OG? Like every comic, somebody kind of ushers you into the game. Who was that person for you, Mr. George and or Monique?
Well, since I wrote for Red Fox, I think it may have been Red Fox.
Oh, wow.
Yeah, I wrote for the show, not Sanford and Son, but the show that was because uh, yeah, I wrote for it was an ABC variety show called the Red Fox Show, Variety Hour. So he ushered me in, and I just love being in the business. And then, of course, Richard Pryor went through all his days at the Comedy Store with the writing. He and Paul Mooney and David Banks. I saw all of that stuff growing up. I just learned from everybody, man. Everybody.
Yeah, I had a chance to talk to David Banks a lot before he passed, and he is a wealth of information, man.
Well, you see where Richard was so funny coming from David too. If anybody ever met David Banks, a lot of input came from David Banks.
Miss Monique, who's your OG?
Um, I would have to say this cat named Ricky Shackelford out of Baltimore.
Okay.
Um, that cat taught me how to be funny without saying anything.
You just did it. You just did it again.
Like he was the first cat that took me around to the different spots in Baltimore and introduced me to the one nights, the
Mm.
open mic nights. So I would have to say it was a brother named Ricky Shackelford.
Oh, God, Lord, Monique.
Thank
You
God
saying,
for Ricky.
hey, Rodney, Monique, you guys a little younger. You're saying open mic night. I didn't even have that. We just had to go someplace.
Wow.
Just go someplace.
Just go someplace. Yeah, and Bernie Mac would tell you about it. But just go to a club and just open for singers. The jazz club, the singers, and then I got to New York City and we had Catch Rising Star.
Wow.
So at the outset of your career, George, you're as a black person, you're basically alone. There is no black comedy.
Yeah, I think I might be one of the oldest. Paul Mooney's out now, and Sinbad is maybe. I mean, and John Witherspoon passed away last year. I might be one of the oldest black comedians out there, unless y'all can help me.
Wow, baby.
Yeah, for sure.
Hope I ain't getting ready to die.
Don't
Nah,
say it.
you ain't
Do
No,
going
that.
nowhere.
hell no.
Do
Well, I
that.
know I've had more yesterdays than I got tomorrows. I know that, but I'm having a good time tonight.
God
Come on
damn it,
now.
George Wallace. Shit.
Yes.
I have
Oh.
another question for Miss Monique, if I can ask you real quickly before you go,
Yes,
please.
ma'am.
Okay. Hi, and I didn't introduce myself either, y'all. I'm so tired, but I'm living off of Mr. George's energy right now. Um, so my question for you, Miss Monique, is how did you transition into acting, and was it hard for you to transition into acting from stand up, or did you have a background?
That's such a great question, my baby. I didn't transition into acting because I never went to Hollywood to be an actress.
Right.
So, so I always tell people, I'm not an actress. That's just what they call me.
Gotcha.
Right.
So if there was no transition. That see
Gotcha.
with stand up, God damn it, you acting every time you go on stage because you can be
Exactly.
anybody you want to be. You can you can be a old bitch that's white and 97. You can be a little Indian girl that's 3 years old. When you on that stage, you can be anybody you want to be. So when they take a stand up, for me, the ones that got that thing, that in it,
Mm-hmm.
and they put us in front of a camera, it's like, oh, okay, I've been doing this for 20 years prior to getting here. Oh,
Exactly.
okay. That's my name now? Okay, yeah. I mean, if that answers it, there really was no transition. It was just, here it is. Okay.
Okay. All right. Thank you.
You're
Mo,
welcome.
you we talked one time and I tell you about this role I was working on. You was like, do you know him? Do you know this man that you about to play? And I thought that was the best question anybody ever asked me about acting.
Well, may I speak on that, Rodney? Did Rodney go away?
I think
Mm,
his connection is bad, maybe.
Oh.
disconnect. He might have fell asleep because Rodney will fall asleep and still be
Cause
Could you
talking
he,
imagine? Nah,
sense.
he
he's there. He's there.
y'all can hear me?
Now we
We can,
We
can.
can hear
yeah.
Oh, I'm sorry. Yeah, that's why I lobbed it up there, Mo. Go ahead.
Yeah, because I think that we didn't go to school for acting. We didn't go to Yale Drama School. We didn't have coaches and people to do. We don't that ain't what the fuck we do. So when I say, do you know this nigga that you reading about? Because I know you know a nigga that's that nigga.
Hmm.
Get to know him. So that way when they say action, you're not acting. You've just become him. That's all. To me, and I please forgive me, y'all, if I'm saying it as if it's a throwaway, but for in my mind, I had to make it that simple for me. I couldn't go into I've got to be this bitch all day and oh God, when I come out, please, I need to have a therapist in my room. I couldn't do that. I couldn't do that. That shit too heavy for me. I'm just like, nigga, when you say action, I'm that bitch. When you say cut, okay, I'm that. So
Exactly.
yeah.
I thought sometime, Monique, when I was acting, I'm going, am I doing this right? Because I did my lines. Now I'm back me, just like that. Because you work like with Forrest Whitaker, right? You work with Forrest Whitaker. He's the character all day. To be tired, he'll run around the fucking block. And you got me, action. I'm tired right now. I ain't running around no fucking block. I can tell you that.
Yes. Yes. We cut differently, Mr. George.
Yeah.
We cut differently. And it's no
Well,
disrespect to what they do.
exactly. And I
Because
do
I mean,
respect it. That's the thing. I do respect them going like
yeah.
he's committed. He ran all the way around the block to be tired to do this.
They
And
get into it, baby. I'm
yeah.
like, oh, okay, all right, okay, okay. I remember one time in this interview, this woman said, "Did you have to did you have to go to therapy and be deprogrammed after you did Precious?" I said, "For what?" I said, "Bitch, listen. When he said cut, that's where that bitch stays. She
You
never left
cut
with me. That bitch never left. She never left that goddamn warehouse with me. Uh-uh. No, sir. Me and Lee was laughing at that shit like it was a fucking comedy at times. I'm like, are we doing something wrong? Because I don't know if we should be giggling at this moment. Yeah,
exactly.
no, I don't. Mm-mm.
But you guys
No.
do need to know there are different techniques for different people. So
Yes, and we respect all of their techniques.
yes.
Good morning. I had a quick question that I wanted to ask if it's okay.
Of course, sugar.
I appreciate it, Monique. I'm a huge fan of yours and George and Daphnique and everyone else, and even Rodney. I just discovered you not long ago. I have two questions. My first question is, how do you all guard your health, your physical health, your mental health, your emotional health? I think all of us are going through some things with this pandemic, and not only do we crave human interaction, but we also crave laughter to help feed our soul and to keep
Whew.
our spirits up. So, how do you guard your health? And then my second question is, how do you fight to tell your stories? I think all too often there's mainstream pressure to tell one type of story, whether you're African American or Latino or Indian or whatever the case may be. How do you fight to tell your unique story that may not be within the mainstream, but certainly adds to the culture? Thank y'all for taking my questions.
Man, you sound like you work at the White House press conference asking all those long ass questions with 2 or 3 different answers, 2 or 3 different questions. How you do that? Well, I tell you what, we're in such a great business. The comedians are going through this pandemic, and we can cause laughter, and we help a lot of people, and it helps us too, believe it or not, to be able to laugh at these moments because this pandemic is crazy. COVID is crazy. I like to. It's different for everybody. We have our moments of depression too, because it's different. My moment of depression is I haven't been on stage in a year, and I need to get to that. But that's what I'm doing. I'm on stage right now, so this is helping me get through that. And I'm eating anything I want to eat as far as food. If you mentioned that, and you sound like a minister. Uh,
I'm an attorney, but I also used to work at the White House back during the Clinton administration. So
that's
it's
why you're
funny you
asking them
mentioned
long
that.
ass questions. No
Wow.
one, I'm just going, damn, he's asking them
Get
long
it,
3 part
baby.
questions. And I went to the White House when Clinton and I sat in the president's chair. They said you can't sit there, and it was too late then. But I stole shit from the White House too. Yes, I
Come on.
did.
Come
What
on.
what you get, Mr. Wallace?
Listen, I'm sitting there, Ron, and I'm just thinking, I'm in the White House. I'm in the situation room, sweet and low, everything with a presidential seal, the napkin, sweet and low. And I said, I'm stirring my coffee with a spoon, and I'm going, this shit got to go. And so when I'm walking out, when, when I'm walking out the White House with the spoon, right, I'm going, oh, fuck, this metal detector's going to go off, right? So it's too late, so I have to go to the metal detector and I go through and nothing happened. I'm going, shit, I should have taken more silverware. Because I was looking at like, I paid for all this shit. He ain't paid for nothing. All this shit
Come
mine.
on. Come on.
So Mr. White House, man, thank you so much. And
What? Well,
you're an
hit
attorney.
well hit me up if you want some presidential cufflinks. I'd be happy to get you some.
So you
And
stole some shit too, didn't you?
well,
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 hell.
they fell off the truck. They fell off the truck. That's what
Oh,
had
yeah,
happened.
okay. So you do
That's
have some
hilarious.
president. So let me get serious for a moment because I really will take a pair.
Yeah, of course. Yep, I wouldn't offer it up if I didn't.
Okay, go
So
to georgewallace.com. You'll find all about me. Send me those cufflinks.
you got it. You
I don't
got it.
want no fucking Trump cufflinks now. Don't send no shit over here like.
No, no, we're gonna make sure you get the right pair with the right ones on it. So that's not a problem. But what about fighting to tell your stories? And Rodney, I know you had a health experience recently as well, brother, which was part of the reason I wanted to ask the health question. So how are you all doing with your physical health and et cetera?
well,
Rodney.
well, well, for anybody that don't know, 4 years ago I had a stroke, and more than anything, it was probably being kind of an idiot. They diagnosed me with hypertension, which is high blood pressure. I took the medication, and my penis deflated, and I was
Oh
like,
no.
you know what? I'm not gonna take this shit no more. And it took 5 years to catch up to me, and it did. And I was on the road, and to be honest, the day I had the stroke, I went to the Walmart and checked my blood pressure. It was 221 over 140,
Oh,
and yeah, and and I made a decision. I was like, if I'm gonna die, I want to die on stage. And so, luckily, I didn't. But I went and did 2 shows that night with my pressure up like that. And
hmm
I went to the emergency room that night, checked in, went to ICU 8 days, and spent the next 40 or 50 days recovering and getting back on my feet. I was back on stage in a total about less than 90 days. Yeah,
God bless you. That's good, man.
yeah. But
Now everybody know you got to go check your blood pressure now.
you better.
I keep the kit with me at all times. Yeah, so Mo,
Yes. Yes, sugar.
he's asking a question about your health, how you're dealing with your stories in your life. And
Oh, I thought we answered the White House correspondent. Um, you know, I try to work out 5 times a week.
damn,
Um, do no meat.
damn.
Do a lot of ginger. I'm grateful that I no longer have to suffer with that thing called depression, even during all of this time. And though I've not been on a stage, my God, I can't tell you the last time I've been on stage, Rodney.
Mm.
Wow.
However, I come into my closet, and my closet is the stage, and my clothes are the people. And I do a whole goddamn show.
And you ain't dealing with no depression. You're dealing with something else.
No, nigga, I'm
you, you,
that
you talk,
marijuana, nigga, it'll do it every time. I'll be like, it's packed in this bitch.
you
Shit,
gotta, you
niggas
gotta
everywhere.
talking to your
Um,
clothes and shit. Yeah. So you're doing
but
something.
but for me, that's my stage. It's like because I don't want to take myself to that place. That's where I work out my material. That's where
Mm-hmm.
because my kids were like, "Oh, mommy," they already know this is where mommy comes. I work it out. I work it out. I work it out. I work it out so that I don't go to that place. I keep occupied. And then for me too, I have a family. I'm a wife and I'm a mother. And what I can't let my children see their mother is be broken because I
Mm-hmm.
can't get on somebody's stage? Hell
Mm-hmm.
no. That's just for me. So I'm grateful that I enjoy my family and we're homebody people. So when the shit hit and shit went on lockdown, we looked at each other like, oh, okay. Nobody panicked because that's what we know, that's what we normally do. So for us, we holding on to each other. I come get on the stage when I need to and work it on out. And I'm taking care of my health the best way I can because I want
Mm-hmm.
my family for as long as I can.
Mm-hmm.
So I hope we've answered that, sir.
Mm-hmm.
You have, Monique, and let me tell you, you look fantastic. So whatever you're doing, keep it up, and
Yes,
don't let
Queen.
your husband come after me for saying it.
Well, brother, I appreciate that, and so does he, because
So
what
does
you're not is
he.
blind. Okay, people kill me with that. It's like if I see a fine man, I'm like, God damn, he's beautiful. Cause my
Right.
eyes still see, and if he see a fine woman, he be like, she was really pretty. But God, he ain't blind, so we appreciate that with both of us. Thank you, sugar.
And Eric, you being an attorney, what brought you into the clubhouse with the comedians?
Well, first of all, I love comedy. I mean, comedy is a stress reliever for me. Oftentimes, I get on here late at night or early in the morning with a group of folks, and we tell jokes and have a good time and talk about what's happening in the world. But then number two, when I saw that Daphnique was in here, who I love,
Mm-hmm.
and saw you were in here. And then when I heard Monique's voice, I was like, that's Monique, but it wasn't, the traditional spelling. I was like, yeah, I'm in here. I'm supposed to be working, preparing something for court now, and I'm listening to y'all. So, I might have to call in sick too and tell them I have anal glaucoma that I can't
Call
see my
in.
If
ass.
George,
What
if
what
George
what
But
did
city
it,
are
you
you
could
calling
do it,
from?
Eric.
I'm outside of DC. I live in Northern Virginia, but I practice law in DC. But if I call in sick, George, I'm gonna tell them I have anal glaucoma. I can't see my ass coming to work today. So
Well, you're living in the most beautiful part of the country, man. Because the DMV, I tell you
yes,
what, I used to
sir.
live in Rockville. It's so beautiful, and most people don't know how nice that part of the country is. And do you have a commercial?
Nope, I
Because
don't
all of
have.
the lawyers I know have a commercial. In a wreck, need a check, one call. That's all.
Yeah,
Y'all said
no,
call
no.
in.
I don't have a commercial. I'm just the best free lawyer my family and friends can get. Civil, criminal, you name it.
Oh, that's good,
Oh,
man.
that's dope.
That's good. That's good. Well, you go to work.
Yes, sir. Thank y'all for having me up here. And, I wish nothing but the best for you all in 2021 and beyond.
Same to you, sir. God bless you.
Thank you,
Right
brother.
back at you.
Thank you. Thanks for coming up.
I have a question.
So, as a comedian, do you deal with lawsuits pertaining to, possibly talking about certain people? And if so, how do you handle those type of situations?
Ooh, I can't answer that question. I never talk. You mean um, slander?
What they claim to be slander.
I never had that, and I probably would never talk about anybody. I don't know about the other comedians can speak on that.
Yeah, I mean, I think as long as you're not malicious, people don't kind of come that hard back at you, and so yeah, I don't even know anybody that's dealt with that. So no.
Right. Did you slander somebody?
No, I have not slandered anybody.
Did somebody slander you?
No, not a comedian, but okay, so I'll just explain it like this.
Yeah.
So let's say I
You don't
had
have
a
to tell
show,
us the
right?
whole story. Yeah, you don't have to tell us the whole story. Just
Yeah. So let's say if I had a show and I wanted to talk about a situation, if I leave their name out and leave out certain locations and everything like that, I can talk about the situation, right?
yeah.
Yeah.
Okay.
It happened to you, right?
Of
Yes.
course.
You can talk
That's
about whatever
storytelling.
pop in your head,
Okay. Just making
literally,
sure.
and
Yeah.
you can say names. You can say whatever if it's true, as long as you're not lying.
Okay. Yeah. I just wanted to make sure because
I probably stay away from the last name.
yeah, I don't say
It
anybody's
doesn't
name.
hurt you to stay away from the name.
Okay. Yeah,
You're
I
still
just
getting the
wanted.
story out. Yeah, change the name so you don't piss the person off. At least they can't come to you and say, I didn't use your name.
Right,
Yeah,
right.
so you're done with it.
Okay. Just make sure. Well, thank you very much.
Because there could be sometimes it's not what you say, it could be a lawsuit and you got to go to court and you got to get rid of a lot of money just defending yourself. So don't put yourself in that position.
Can somebody really sue you for that though?
People can sue you for anything and then you got to
Anyone can
get
sue
your,
you for anything,
yeah.
Doesn't mean they'll win, but they could
right?
try it.
But it's
And they
expensive.
they can they can definitely if you go to court, it gets very expensive too.
Exactly. It's kind of like when you go to when the IRS calls you down for your tax. Shit, I think if I'm right, I think they should pay for my lawyer's fee.
Oh, they on my ass.
Oh, see?
I have a question. When y'all are writing for like a show, or if you're writing like any kind of content or material, how do you make sure that you're not like sometimes I have like a really good part of my set that would fit perfectly in the material I'm writing, and I don't want to like cheat myself from stage and put it in this like, how do you like separate the two?
Just write yourself a pilot. Write yourself a web series, registered and copyrighted. And I always tell people this: if I noticed that when we first come up, a lot of people spend so much time worrying about if somebody's gonna steal your stuff. Just worry about being good. You know what I mean? And people will know that it's yours. And you also got to believe in yourself that if somebody steal your shit, you'll come up with something even better. Like
Bam.
I wouldn't focus on that, but if you see it, that's why I never understood. Like if you're a stand-up comedian, I feel like you should have a pilot or something up underneath your belt. You know what I mean? So I would write whatever I think that somebody else would see as a show, and go ahead and WGA it and copyright it. You can copyright it. I think it's $55, and the WGA is $25, and it covers you for 3 years.
That's a great answer, Daphne. I think she was asking like when she's like tasked to write on the show, how does she not cannibalize her own material? Is that true?
Yeah, more along that.
Or
I
can I?
mean, go ahead.
Are you writing your show or somebody else's show?
Somebody else's show?
Oh, I could have sworn she said when she was on stage. I'm sorry.
Yeah, she
No,
did
no.
say on stage.
I meant like stealing from yourself on stage. Like, when you're writing for a show or writing content for something and you like know like, man, this joke would be perfect for the situation, but you don't want to steal it from yourself because you use the material still.
Is it your content or somebody else's content though?
Someone else's.
Oh, okay. Well, then never mind.
Oh no,
Don't.
no.
So she's writing for the George Wallace show. She's got a great joke already that exists. She's like, she don't want to. She wanted the question is, does she use her own joke while writing?
She can do that. She can do that.
Yeah,
Because
I
I
mean
did
that goes
when I
back to
wrote for the
Daphne.
Red Fox show. When I wrote for the Red Fox show, he would do one of my jokes, and I'm going. He still didn't fucking do it right. So that didn't stop me from going back to the stage doing it the right way I wanted to do it. If somebody were to say something, I go, "Here's my joke. I wrote it."
Okay, I like that because my thought process was that if I write it and then they use it, then I'm just not gonna use it on stage anymore.
Right.
Well, you have to
And
It's
explain it if they don't know where
communication
it came
too.
from. You do have to explain it if they don't know where it came
Communicate.
from. Yeah.
right, and you want to also consider the fact that like it's relative to who you give a joke to. Like if you're writing on a mainstream show, you give them one of your good urban jokes. There ain't nobody gonna connect those dots.
Well, they could if it's real good.
That's true.
Like Seinfeld has called me several times and asked could he borrow a particular joke for the show, and I said, "Yeah, go ahead and do it." And
Wait,
then
do they
later
pay
on,
for that?
maybe 3 years from now, and I'll bring it back
Do
because
they
I
pay
wrote
you
it.
for that?
I'm sorry.
Do they pay you for that?
He wouldn't pay me for shit.
Oh Lord.
Seinfeld would
But,
never
but
pay me for anything. He's given me so many jokes. We've been best friends. Um, do they pay me for that? Now you might know that Seinfeld and I. Let me put it like this. I am the real roommate of Seinfeld. I am the real George. You do know that.
No, thanks for
oh
telling us.
wow, wow.
I'm the one that was his roommate for 13 years. That's
That's
why
my
we've been
favorite
friends
character.
for.
Is that really based on your personality,
That's
George?
not. It's based on a lot of people's personality. It's he mostly a kid he went to school with, and then Larry David's friend. So the character changes around, but the name and the character and the George as the roommate. I'm that guy. But I never did the show because we kept friendship and business separate.
That makes sense. That's so cool.
That's why we've been friends for 45 years.
Wow.
But yeah, when you're writing, when you're a writer, you're just going to continue writing. Like Daphnique said, you're just going to continue writing. Doesn't matter. Just keep writing. There's always new shit coming up every day. Just keep writing.
Yeah, and thank you, Daphnique, for sharing that info with everyone with the WGA and the copyright.
Yeah, thank you guys. I appreciate everybody's input.
You're welcome, Queen. George, you're keeping us going, I'm telling you.
Well, listen to me. It's daylight here. I got to be up and do a TV show in like 2 hours. I'm still going to take a nap. I'll be ready to go in 2 hours. And I just love it. I'm hooked. I am hooked. You
It
guys
fades
need to go
after
to
like
bed.
a month and a half.
Sorry.
It fades after like a month and a half.
What? Oh, you know what? This is only my second time on.
That's why.
So you give me 2 more weeks. I'm going. Hey, how y'all doing? Bye. But it's good. Is everybody awake?
Yes,
I'm
sir.
still with.
Yes.
Yep.
Yes.
Yeah, we still up.
I mean,
We
I
love
left this
everything
room
what
last night at like 2 a.m. and it's still going. It's crazy to me.
Same.
Does it
Which
always
one,
happen like
Rodney?
this? Does it always happen like this? 8 hours? Do they usually last 8 hours?
Sometimes.
A lot of the
Longer.
rooms
Not,
I've been in.
I've seen them.
yeah, sometimes it depends, I guess, who the moderators are, because sometimes obviously they're just shifting, like taking shifts, like sort of. So it really just depends on what's going on with them, because if they can keep it open, then why not? So
Oh
that's
yeah.
why this room has been amazing, is because you've been giving us a lot of energy, and Wallonius was holding it down, and Tehran and Nick. I mean, there's so many people that are holding it down, and then some take their little naps and then come back in. So it's actually a really interesting strategy, but it allows people to connect at any moment in time, which is pretty powerful.
Well,
Yeah,
that is great.
12
It's
hours.
it's literally living, breathing, waking, eating, sleeping comedy.
And that's what it's all about.
It's amazing. Is Wallonius knocked out?
I think he's up.
He should be up, but he's in Florida. It's like 10 o'clock his time now.
George, I can't believe you're still here. I already went to bed and woke back up again.
Isn't that amazing? Well,
He's the real MVP.
He's always on Vegas time, so you know.
well, no, I've been doing this, Craig, for 45. I'm just a night person. When you've been doing it for 45 years, you
Yeah.
normally going to bed this time of day, you know? So it's,
Everybody knows that George is the best show at 10 o'clock.
well, it was for until March 13th.
Yeah, no kidding, man.
Can't wait to get back.
Well, you know,
George, are you doing any of the Zoom shows?
I do Zoom every day. I got 3 Zooms today. I did Conan last week. I do Civil Books Live every Thursday. I do Trey Taylor every Monday, and NBC with Craig Melvin coming up, and The View, The Real. I got them because I'm pushing the book. I have the new book, Bull Twit, and whatnot. So I
Nice.
have tons of Zoom. I love to do Zoom. I'm not doing anything. Shit, I'm at home.
How many books are there, George? Because you have like at least 5 books, right?
No, it's only 2 books. I have the 2 books that Laugh It Off and Laugh It Off. Laugh It Off.
Are you
And I got,
self-published?
I'm sorry?
Are you self-published?
Yes, I am. Matter of fact, right now, my first book was on Amazon. This book is georgewallace.com. I'm making all the money. Amazon takes half your money. So I said, let me try this on my own this time. I don't mind taking a change. I don't mind taking a chance.
Right. Or who are you using for printing?
Well, I use a major printer. And you know, I do run a company, Crazy World Inc. I do have a company in Las Vegas. I do have people working for me to get things done. My fulfillment center. You know, you get everything. I have a store, T-shirts, hats, everything like that. But I still run the show in Las Vegas, so I have a company. So we get that done.
Got it. I would imagine your advertising background helps you to promote your other endeavors.
Well, the advertising background really got me through Las Vegas because I knew how to go into Las Vegas and create uh, uh, a new show. What I wanted to do, I got to Las Vegas. I saw a lot of empty billboards. So me selling billboards, I knew they were empty. I said, hey, listen to me. I'm going to buy 3 billboards, but you're going to give me 5 more because they're empty. Do what I do, and everybody else will follow me. I'm the guy that went to Las Vegas and put 5 trucks with George Wallace back to back to back to back to back to back going down the street. And people said, why would you do that? All 5 trucks back to back to back to back to back. I said, you're asking me about it, aren't you?
The original. It's the original 4-wall.
Yep. So that's what people start. Now you go to Las Vegas, you'll see like 3 or 4 trucks back to back to back because I started it back in 2004.
Now, could what you did in Vegas translate in other cities?
Yes, because I'm thinking about doing it in Orlando, Florida. I want to go to Orlando, Florida, because they have nothing there, and they got tons of traffic. You know, Universal, you got Disney, and there's no real show. You could do it in Atlanta too, but it just takes a lot of work.
Yeah.
Like I said, I had to go to every hotel in the city and shake concierge hands. There's a new show in town, and it just builds. Did you hear about this? Word of mouth. So if someone were to do it like that juke joint, what do they call it? The juke joint in Atlanta right downtown? If some guy wanted to open up a room or in a hotel, if you really wanted to do the work, but there's advertising and you got to go. And when the conventions come into town, people are looking for places to go. They're looking for places to entertain.
All right.
It can be done in every city.
So you guys are going to like this. Years ago, there was a celebrity golf tournament down in the Bahamas. and mostly it was a bunch of TV and film people, and then some football players because all the other sports were still in season. And so I went down there, and it was about 2 weeks after the OJ trial. And OJ had just gotten out of jail, and it was his first golf tournament. So if you actually PTR and look at my picture, old George was there.
I was there.
Yep. It was the W.H. Roberts Foundation one. And I didn't realize that was the first time I met George. And I didn't realize how big a motherfucker he was. And I went to give him a hug in the picture, and I literally just fell into him. So George, if you pull your screen down once and then you go down two, you'll see me, and click at my photo, and you'll see the photo of us.
That's a great picture.
Yep.
I'll do that. You know, I'm new at this stuff. I'm like Monique. I don't know what I'm doing.
So if you take your finger and just scroll down and to like refresh your screen.
It's spinning, but it's not coming up yet.
Yeah, that's fine. And then look at your photo, and then go down two. You'll see me, Craig, talking. And
It'll
then,
happen somewhere. I'll get it. I'll get it eventually. I can't believe there's still like 800 people in this room or something like that.
600 of them napping.
Well,
hey, I got a question, George.
Go ahead.
So you played in the episode of Seinfeld, right, as the doctor?
Yes, sir.
I remember. Okay, so how did you guys come up with the idea to have that song like be an issue for you? I think it was like Witchy Woman song, I think.
That was just a play on Elaine, I think, that, you know, because she would go in a trance, and all of a sudden, I'm the doctor. I heard that, and then I went into a trance. Ooh, Witchy Woman. And he needed a look. He needed a certain look. And as I explained before, that came from me being, when his son had a bris, the Jewish circumcised ceremony. And I said that when they got the baby drunk, and the rabbi did his thing and circumcised the baby, and the baby went, ah! To this day, when I walk into the house, that baby looks at me like, I know you from somewhere. I know that look. I know you from somewhere. And he needed that look, and he asked me to do it, and it was done.
Wow.
I have a question. So first of all, this is Ashante A. Miller at the bottom. This room is so hilarious and so funny. I feel like they need like George and Rodney on CNN to give like their take of what's going on in the world, just to make us all laugh. But George, how are you thinking about like bringing Las Vegas to the virtual space? Because I know you were talking about, you missed the stage. You haven't been on stage in a year. So how can you bring what you do, like the healing to the world in Vegas, to Clubhouse or just any virtual space, like just doing shows here?
Well, I'm learning about it, and people are already doing it. Believe it or not, we were talking about it earlier, later tonight, about a great example is how the WWE creates a whole audience there with screens all over the place, and you get the laughter and the reactions and everything come back to you. So it can be done.
The question isn't about how to bring comedy here. The question is about how to monetize it properly, so you can actually make money doing it.
Yeah. No, go ahead.
There's sponsors, and people are making money on podcasts. I don't know how they're doing that right now, but I'm going to learn.
Yep.
With how many viewers you get, how many listeners you get, people are making tons of money. And I hear it's really booming in the porn industry. Ladies are making $50,000 a week, I hear, with the privatizing of personal shows.
Yeah, I mean, I think that it's easy. Like, the way to monetize it is really easy. The same way, like how you were saying, a podcast or you would do radio. But I'm just wondering, like, it seems like you are super comfortable in this space, and like you said, 600 people. But yeah, I'm just wondering, and I'm pinging everybody into the room, and people are like, thank you so much, because it's just, Clubhouse is awesome, but we don't always want to talk about business, even though we are business people. Sometimes we just want to come and like laugh. And
well, that's where the Rodneys come in, and the Moniques and the Daphniques. That's where they come in, and and we're happy to do it. And we have the greatest job in the world to make people laugh. There's no way that we could do numbers like an accountant. People say, "How do you remember those jokes? How do you do that? How the fuck do you do accounting?" There's no way in hell we would be. We can't do a 9 to 5. So you guys that do 9 to 5, God bless you. That's the hardest thing in the world to do. But we do work 24/7. That's
George,
perfectly clear. Yes.
you have, I mean, and Ashanta, honestly, this is a fun room, but George and Monique and Daphnique and Rodney they've dropped business gems. It just in the course of being funny, they've offered some really instrumental tools if you want to run a successful business. Because George has talked about the way he set up his business, so it's been humorous and fun, but it's also been really, really educational.
Yeah,
Yeah.
Imani, let me tell you something. That's very important that you said that, Imani, because it's show and then there's business. Don't ever forget that there's a show and then there's business. And sometimes I relate this to athletes in the world making all of this money. Some of them can't talk. Some of them spend all the money in the first 3 years as a football player, basketball player. And the next thing you know, how the hell could you get a $35 million contract and you're broke? A la the boxer, what's his name, $300 million, Mike Tyson. How could you lose show and business? Learn your business.
Well, and I'll tell you, so I'm not a comic, but I was a celebrity talent manager for years, and I've represented some of the biggest comedians, some of the biggest actors, and some of the biggest musicians in the world. And by far, comedians are the worst with their money. At the end of the day, that they handle they don't usually know the business part of the industry as well as they should, and that's a shame.
Well, that happens because comedians walk off stage, and a lot of times you get paid in cash.
Yep.
And you go straight home, or you go straight, you buy shit with it, and you forget about your uncle down the street, and your uncle will be knocking at your door sooner or later. So you got to keep that in mind. And
well, George, look at our mutual friend, the amazing Jonathan.
Yes.
You know,
that was another. What do you call that? Another
cautionary tale.
Yes, yes, yes. So you get wrapped up in that. So make sure you take care of yourself and put a little money on the side. Like right now, a lot of comedians are struggling because we didn't see March 15th come and everything's shutting down. Try to prepare for the future if you can.
So now, how much is open in Vegas? I mean, all you see is that mayor in Vegas saying everything's open. Come on down, and I'm like, what are you talking about?
Well, everything is not open now. I'm not there. I haven't been there. I'm in Atlanta. I haven't been there since March 15th, and there's no reason to be there for me because there is no show. My name is still up on the marquee, but I'm not in that room right now.
Right. The gambling is open, but the actual performances are not.
Right.
There are a couple of shows that are running, but yeah, you have to kind of search for them. When I was there maybe 2 or 3 weeks ago, they were having a small size show, but it was at like 20% capacity.
Exactly. See, that's what, and then they're saying sold out. That's why I have a problem when I get ready to go back because there's a capacity limit. When you own a show, it's hard to make money with 50% of it. You're just breaking even with 50% capacity.
Yep.
So that's something new I got to deal with. I don't have to go back. Like I said, I've been doing it for 45 years. I'm blessed. I don't ever have to work a day in my life again. I just love what I do. But we'll make it happen. It's going to be a whole different story when we go back to work for everybody.
Yeah, no, it's been crazy to watch the mayor though. She's been going on TV like a crazy person, putting a come on down sign everywhere, and I'm like nothing's happening, and I'm like, are you kidding me?
Well, you don't want to put yourself in harm's way. The casinos are just Las Vegas is definitely a spreader city. People fly in and fly out.
Yep.
And that's kind of what happened in Orlando, Florida last week. I don't know what's going to happen in the next 3 weeks out of Orlando. Florida's a crazy state anyways. Take care of yourself out there, guys.
George, you spoke to writing for Red Fox. Could you give us some context of who he was? I'm sure most of us don't have real context of the type of comedian he was.
Well, he was a fantastic comedian. Everybody knows he
Legend.
was a legend, somewhat blue. But I don't really know who he was because we wrote for him in part of the Valley, Studio City. Uh, we shot the show at CBS and it aired on ABC. So I was getting all that shit together. How did this work, you know? But we would write the jokes, write the sketches, and we would get them to Red, and Red would always be late. And Red had the same problem that Amazing Jonathan had. And so there were some problems there. But Red was a funny man. And of course, Sanford and Son, he worked the hell out of that. That's we know the funny from and people went to see Red Fox. They thought they were going to see Fred Sanford. Ooh, different story.
Hey, so back in the day, you know, a lot of comics used to get hired to write jokes for the bigger comics, and that stopped at some point, and that would be sacrilege. Like, I don't know any of the comics in this room write jokes for other people, except for maybe late night guys.
Yeah.
Do you know when that sort of shift happened?
Oh, boy, I guess that must have been about maybe 10, 15 years ago because comedy changed. Comedians started doing more material about themselves. Um, Instead of telling jokes, like I still write a lot of jokes about what I see, and I still write a lot of jokes, but most comedians tell younger comedians just tell a story about their lives and what happened. There was a change, and every 20 years there's a change in how people write and stuff
I
material.
always thought
Maybe
that
somebody else can answer that.
Richard Pryor marked that change. What do you think, George?
That's a good way. That's a good way to look at Richard Pryor. Yeah, but it's been a different change
People were
since.
still writing jokes for people even after Richard Pryor, though.
I'm sorry.
I said there were still people writing jokes for other people after Richard Pryor.
Totally.
I mean,
that went on for another 15 years. You're right.
But people are writing jokes for comedians now. I mean, you know, Kevin Hart has writers, and he's probably the only person that credits his writers.
Well, you know, Chris Rock has writers too.
Yeah.
Let me tell you something. Dave Chappelle has got to be in a position where he has writers also. Got to be, you know, somewhere to at least tag a joke.
Right. So there's always somebody around there because the process is so collaborative. Somebody has to put an ear on it and throw something in there.
Exactly.
Right, exactly. It's not done in a vacuum, basically.
No, but you know what? I think part of it is that the more multi hyphenate a comedian gets, you know, with the Chris Rocks and whatever else, when they start doing movies and TV and other things, that they don't have the time that a comedian would normally have to be able to focus on the craft, that they probably hire writers. But most stand-up comedians that tour and do comedy clubs and whatever else, I don't know many that would be caught dead using someone else's joke, especially
Right.
especially now in the days of the Carlos Mencias and the other bullshit that's went on.
Right, right.
I think comedy changes due to how the audience and how America is as a country. Sometimes the comedians change depending on the audience that they're speaking to.
I also think it's a pride issue, you know.
I think it's a mixture of everything everybody said.
Right. My best friend writes for Kevin, right? Kevin Hart. And he does for Kevin what he did for me when we was just together.
Just together. See, that's how that happens. Exactly, Rodney.
I was going to say that, Rodney. We do that on accident. Like even upcoming comics, like after the comedy show, we are at the diners and we are at the restaurants and we're all tagging each other's jokes. It's on accident.
Yeah, just from hanging out with each other, you start like finishing each other's like endings and collaborating with words.
Sure.
I remember I was at dinner one night with Augie Smith and a couple other comics, and they kind of started riffing, and then a joke came up, and then all three of them started they threw a $5 bill on the table, said that joke is mine. The next guy threw $10 on the table, said no, that joke is mine, and then a 20 came out.
That's funny.
Until the last guy, and literally, and he left, and the last guy came in, threw like $300 on the table and said, "That's my joke, motherfuckers," and walked away.
Y'all have no idea how much of a blessing it is to have like people that you're writing with in comedy that can like hear your jokes and you can grow with it. Growing as a comedian in LA, there's not a lot of there's not a lot of friendship here, and so you don't get a lot of that, like, you know.
Well,
especially for
one
colored
good thing to do is
women.
have an ear. The one good thing to do is have an ear. Listen
Colored.
to what people are saying. Listen to your uncle. Listen to some stupid somebody said. Have that in your ear. Go, you know what? That's funny. Always have that in your ear. Just an everyday person. Your aunt, your mom. And the next thing you know, you can turn it into a bit.
Yeah,
That's
and that literally just posted. I'm like, I'm in this room on Clubhouse, and I feel like I'm listening to my aunt and my uncle at the family reunion. Like, it's just so natural for y'all to just be funny. It's like you're just doing what you love.
well, that's what we do, and that's what we love. Like I said, that's our drugs, and we just uh,
You
to
know,
be
but
able
they're
to
going to
make.
be the people talk about in the world about how the types of changes from COVID that are going to be permanent. But if you think about stand-up shows, like Preacher Lawson is probably one of the few guys that are out there pretty active right now. And we were talking, and like the post show for you guys is going to be a lot different. Are you really going to want to put your arm around every one of your customers after?
Hell no, I ain't touching nobody. I do that already. I don't give a damn. I ain't fist bumping you. I'm gonna be like Asian. I'll bow to your ass.
So one of the things I used to do with some of my clients is I used to, as a comedian, what you do is you let your opener or the MC, whatever it is, let them use one camera. They have cameras now that can digitally upload to the web right from the camera.
Sure.
And what you do is you don't let the customers take their own, and this will build your social media following at the same time. What you do is you take the pictures with your camera, then you upload them to your social media, and then after the show, they go home to your social media and they can tag themselves in the photos. And that way,
they already paid for it.
And well, that and everyone who went to the show now and because the big thing is how do you get your social media to the shows, and how do you get people from the shows to your social media? And that's a great way to combine those two things. And you don't have to, plus it goes quicker because you don't have to figure out everybody's individual phone. We're doing selfies, and you can keep a little bit of separation when you take the picture. But yeah, no, that's going to be much more common after the fact.
It's going to be something,
and those cameras aren't expensive.
Yeah, well, it's going to be something I got to learn. John Witherspoon was doing it for years,
Yep.
I was just about to say that.
Yeah, Mr. Witherspoon sold Polaroids after the show.
Who sold Polaroid?
Mr. Witherspoon, he would take Polaroid pictures.
But that was of his dick. That was different.
Well, he had a system where he didn't even have to be there. You just take the picture, and it come to you through some form of email.
Yeah.
And, by the way, since I heard you guys talking about how the comedy clubs are closed, I do want everybody to know Chuckles Comedy Club in Memphis and Jackson, Mississippi is very open, and we're waiting on George Wallace to come back. Mr. Rodney Perry just blessed us a few weeks ago. Just had to put that out there.
Great club too, man. Great club. Great chicken wings.
Well, you gotta have chicken wings to have a great club. I will be back out on the road when it's right for me. Right now, I'm staying in. I had a shot already. I'm going to get a second shot at the end of the week. That'll be my 28-day wait for Moderna. And eventually I'll get back out there. But I'm taking my time. I'm not rushing. So I hope to get to Chuckles in Memphis and he says in Jackson, Mississippi, same owner.
Yeah, I don't know if you remember. Me and you did a Yo Mama contest on stage last time you was in Memphis.
Okay. I'm sure you won. So
did you hear there's a city in Mississippi that is it Natchez, Mississippi, that's actually paying people to move there?
Yeah, I heard about that.
But then you read the fine print. They'll pay you $300 a month while you're there, but you have to buy a house worth $150,000 or more. And I'm like, you got to be paying me a lot more than that to move to frickin' Mississippi. Let me tell you right now.
That's the truth, right?
Natchez has a casino.
I don't even fly over Mississippi. Let me tell you right now.
Well, the South is changing. Morgan Freeman. A lot of good people live in. Morgan Freeman lives in Mississippi.
Not anymore.
When did he move away?
He might have a house there. Let me tell you, Morgan don't live there.
Yes, he does. He's got a club there and a home.
Yeah, he does. He does.
And a farm. Yeah.
Yeah, he is just there because he recently just had an incident there. A while ago. He's
just going to say that happened a long time ago. Did it happen again?
Yeah, Morgan's had a few incidents, but
Well,
he's got a house in Santa Barbara that I've been to. It's gorgeous.
well, let me tell you, he is one of the nicest men in the world to work with. I worked with him last year, 2 years ago, on a movie called Just Getting Started. He is exactly. You talk about mama jokes. Whoever brought that up, Morgan Freeman talked about my mama like a dog, man. Like a dog. And they told him, because I never liked Morgan Freeman. It's just a joke that I never liked him, because every role I read for Morgan Freeman got it. And I think I could have done some of those damn roles, Lean on Me. Mr. LaVoy's, lock your doors, lock your doors. And I told him, hell, I'm from Atlanta. I could have driven Miss Day's ass around. I know more about Atlanta than he does. But we had a lot of fun with him. What a great guy. Morgan, I always wanted his voice. Morgan Freeman. Annie Devane crawled through miles of shit just to come out looking clean on the other side. The Morgan Freeman voice. And he's making all of that money with his voice. Yeah, he got a little trouble with the Me Too thing, didn't he?
Oh, yeah.
So he went away for a year. Now he's easing back in.
No, back. Morgan got in trouble with Me Too before Me Too was Me Too. Yeah. I think if he would have pulled the same stuff during Me Too, he'd have been in big trouble.
Bigger trouble, yeah. Was it a little girl?
It was like 7 assistants over the years. It's like every girl he had working for him, he had something going with.
Oh, man.
Yeah.
Damn, man.
That's proximity too.
Yeah.
Let me tell you guys a funny story. The first time I ever met Morgan Freeman in this movie, Just Getting Started, with Tommy Lee Jones, he and a few other people, we were sitting there doing a shot. This is the first day I ever met this man doing a shot, and they had to shoot over his shoulder talking to us. And all of a sudden, Morgan Freeman says, wait a minute, I'm a big fucking star. Why am I sitting here? I got to sit in. And why am I standing here? And I don't know what George Wallace says. Morgan Freeman, sit down and shut the fuck up. And the place went berserk. I just said it right. I'm just going, everybody going to say, what the fuck? I just said it right. He started laughing so hard, he was hitting the desk with that bad hand, the one hand that doesn't work. But it just came out right, and just going like, fuck, where did that come from? Morgan Freeman, sit down and shut the fuck up. I don't know where. So it was just a funny story that happened, and the people just couldn't believe it had happened. But
well, there's only a handful of people in a movie that can say that to the star, and you're probably one of the few.
Well, that's what we were thinking. How did he say that? And the man laughed. If he could have gone the other way, they could have said, get off the fucking set. Because some people don't want you to talk on the set,
In today's entertainment news, George Wallace fired from the movie.
Morgan Freeman. What was that? Hulk. Fired by Hulk. Hulk.
I have a question for George.
Go ahead.
Hey, an honor to ask you a question. I'm a comedian out of Boston, Massachusetts, coming into my 17th year of stand-up comedy. You mentioned just briefly that when you feel comfortable returning to the stage. Could you speak more about that and comedians who are touring through a pandemic? If you have any thoughts on that, I've been struggling with that idea of performing indoors.
Thank you for the question. I've been struggling with it. Of course, I stopped the show immediately in Las Vegas. My room is I went from an 800 seat room to a 400 seat room, and I just think my room is too tight. We're all on top of each other, and I know I see dabbles going out of my mouth every time I hit the stage, and I just don't want to be in that environment just yet, because when people laugh, all of the germs are coming toward me, and I just know being backstage, that's a tight area. Sure. And I'm not comfortable with COVID yet, with the virus, and I'm willing to wait until the right time, until enough people are vaccinated and the numbers are down. So because I'm older also, and I just think I can wait, and I put myself in a position where I can wait. I'm at home, once again, to bring up Seinfeld, we're on the same program. We both do the same thing. Don't go nowhere. Don't invite anybody in. I haven't been to a grocery store. I haven't been inside a grocery store since March 13th. Now, that's just me. Sure. I thank God for you young guys that are out there working. God bless you.
Well, as a 43-year-old person who's still terrified of the virus, I'm just trying to get people's perspective because, again, I really struggled with, I'm in the New England comedy scene where, bookers are doing shows and some have been understanding, but I'm so nervous that, I don't want them to forget about me when things get back to normal, rather than working the comics who have no problem with it.
Well, listen, when things are back to normal, which won't ever be normal, it will be different. But when you feel that you're ready to go back, you'll be ready. So,
Dan,
I appreciate
Trust
it,
me, comedy. I'm a promoter at a comedy club. We will never forget comedians that are careful, whatever your reason is for staying away. That when things get back to normal, we are longing to book funny comedians. So it's never going to be a time that we'll forget about a guy because he was cautious during COVID.
Yeah. Also, Dan, you're a staple in the Boston scene. I've seen you in a whole bunch of times. I came up in the Boston scene, and no one's gonna forget about you.
Oh no, I appreciate that. Thank you so much.
I grew up in Boston, and George, you'll love this. My 18th birthday, I was like, all right, I'm 18. What can I do now? Turns out couldn't do shit. But what I could do is go to my comedy club for the first time, and I went to the old Duck Soup, and the headliner that night was Eddie Brill.
Really?
First stand-up I ever saw in my life, and now Eddie and I are great friends, so it's really ironic.
That's great. Make sure you say hello to Eddie.
Yeah. So what I love about you, George, is every time I see you on film and TV, since I've met you a few times and I know how big you are, how tall, I always love the angles they have to shoot you for to make you not look 9 feet taller than your co-star. Like they must really struggle with the angles.
We had to do that. I was just up in Boston when we shot with Adam Sandler and the Hubie Halloween.
Yeah.
With the apple boxes or whatever they call them,
yep.
Standing positions and angles. Yeah. Well, I'm 6'12". Everybody knows that. So.
Yeah. Well,
And I'm gonna be honest to a lot of you comedians, man. Club. That's one of the reasons I'm on Clubhouse to meet new comedians and just be vocal and meet new guys. The way when business does open up, we can have a different variety that we never had before. So Clubhouse is a great app for people to reach out and and meet and conversate with different people, because a comedy club is always trying to evolve because the crowds in Memphis get tired of the same type of acts, and we always looking for diversity. So if you happen to have a problem in your city, Memphis would love to would love to have you whenever things open back up.
And then that's the really cool thing, Marlo.
Man, I'm coming through Marlo with a hazmat suit.
But that's the cool thing, that business really is not closed. Maybe traditional businesses, but there's ways for promoters to say, okay, everybody's at home. I have a YouTube channel and I'm going to do maybe like a private comedy show with George, Rodney, some other comedians, and just buy a ticket, $35, whatever it is, and you get the link, and then you're able to watch it at home and just partner with like a DoorDash to get food. You know what I mean? So business is still open. It's just you have to innovate.
That hasn't been super successful though. It's been tried a lot so far.
I've actually seen it. My friend did a show with Kim Whitley and a few other people. He works with promoters here in Houston, and it was extremely successful. They had the mayor of Houston do a visual proclamation before, and it was extremely successful. Like they sold almost 1,000 tickets in about 2 weeks.
I get it. I'm just saying that's the exception and not the rule.
Well, that is the exception. If the mayor was there, that was a special show. We know that.
For already established comedians that don't have to worry about, like building their career still, an online show is like a no-brainer. But for a lot of us comedians that are still growing in our career and still establishing and making a name for ourselves, doing an online show is not the easiest thing to do. You worry about burning out material. We don't have a lot of it's just not as easy as it seems. So it's great for OGs, but for us, it's not.
Well, let me tell you, I don't know how long everyone's been on the app or how you've been utilizing it, but I mostly am a screenwriter these days. Since I've been on the app for about 8-9 days, I'll be straight up with you because I'm a business guy. I've made about $250,000 in deals since I've been here.
What you doing?
Selling shows, making partnerships, all kinds of things. So if you guys are just camped out in the comedy rooms, you're not utilizing the app as well. Get in the film rooms, get in the TV rooms, get in the management rooms, start, diversify your career, start figuring out what else that is out there, start getting yourself booked and stuff, start getting your writing, talk to these rooms about getting into comedy writing rooms. for TV shows. There's reality shows. There's tons of deals being made in this app every fucking day.
Absolutely.
And if you're
Yeah, like
and if you're on
crazy.
if you're on this
Yeah.
app
Very
for
true,
more
Chris.
if you're
Meet
on
with
this app
reps.
if you're on this
Yep.
app for more than a week and you haven't done something to better your career, then you're fucking wasting your time.
Yeah.
I just wanted to
Craig, you
add
want to
to
sell another
for
movie?
the up and coming
Always.
comedians. I just wanted to add to for the up and coming comedians. There's someone that mentioned, the difficulties of Zoom shows when you're up and coming. I just want to encourage all of you that are still working to get your name out there and get more following to be very mindful about some of the stuff that you say and the beliefs that you adopt. If you say it's hard, it's going to be hard. If you say that Zoom shows aren't successful, they aren't going to be successful. You literally are everything that you think about. And so I just want to encourage you to change those stories that aren't serving you. I was one of those people where I was just like, ugh, Zoom shows, ugh, it's going to suck. You can't hear people laugh. But, I started in radio. So
Right.
that was a place where you didn't hear anything. You just had to go
Exactly.
with your gut and say what you're going to say. And then, you may hear someone like 2 days later, like, oh, I heard you on the radio the other day. You were hilarious, So you just have to go with it. If it's in alignment with what you want to do and you're passionate about doing comedy, do everything that gets you excited.
That absolutely wasn't what I was
Right.
talking
Like here at Tucker, we had Corey Holcomb a few weeks ago, and to get the amount of money that he was used to having, he just said, "Look, I'm gonna do 10 shows." And I said, "You want to do 10 shows?" He said, "I'm gonna do 10 shows. If I can only fill half the room at 6 shows, then I'm just gonna do 10 shows." So there's always ways around it. Eddie Griffin came. He told us he wanted his own restroom that was sanitized, and he wanted a trailer outside the club that he can walk from straight outside to the stage without being inside. So there's ways to get it done, for those that are cautious. So there's always a solution. We just have to think and find it.
Right.
Eddie Griffin smokes so many cigarettes, he's protected by his permanent cloud.
I have an administrative question for the resident mods here.
Okay, real quick before you ask that, babe, George, I just want to say thank you before I jump off. I gotta start class in like 5 minutes. I wanted to thank everyone that's been thugging it out here with us for like the past 7 hours. George, you're a legend. I love you. I love your spirit. I'm so glad I got to connect and hear your voice today on here. Everybody else that's been here just dropping wisdom and sharing your energy. I'm in so much gratitude and I love you all. Thank you so much. And I'll see you
Thank you.
soon. Have a
Thank you.
great
You pronounce that
class.
Imani? How you pronounce that? Imani?
Iman.
Okay. Thank you so much. God
Thank
bless
you
you.
so much, King. Thanks, everybody. Peace.
Bye bye.
That's a fucking great name, Iman.
So
Yeah.
just really quickly, I was on last night and came back, and it's been fantastic. And I noticed that somebody had a PTR of how to donate some money to the comedy club group, and I just wanted to contribute because it's just been such a great experience listening to all these legends and all these new people and all these funny people, because I'm not funny, and so getting to listen to all this funny, I just wanted to contribute if possible.
Well,
So
I
if
think
somebody
that
could PTR
that PTR was for the what is the name of that? Is it still up?
If you text
This comedians.
707070, right?
Yeah, 70. Yeah.
707070. Text to I think
Text
comedy
laugh.
70
It's laugh.
or the laugh. Text laugh to 70, and that's a great organization because they issue grants to comedians, and I was I actually got one of their grants, and I mean I thought it was really awesome what they did, and especially during the pandemic when a lot of us weren't working. They took, I mean it wasn't nothing to make you it wasn't to make you rich, but extra $500 is real.
Yeah.
And Lisa, you say you're not funny. Your profile says you're an emoji specialist. I mean, come on.
Oh, enthusiast. I like them. I'm
Also, Lisa, if you want to definitely support the comedy club, just make sure you turn on notifications and come out to Throat Baby the musical on February 25th. It's gonna be really dope.
If you want real comedy, you should have been around when George was still learning Facebook Live, and he would like have 5 minutes of him talking. It was nothing but his thumb on the camera.
And it's
Oh,
still
man.
that way. I should be on Instagram every day and TikTok, because all I do is talk shit, but I'm lazy.
I'm gonna tell y'all guys a George Wallace story. We in Memphis doing promo. He puts his phone in his pocket while on live and just left him there till we was done doing promo and came back and they were still there.
I'm just crazy.
You just need a 15-year-old nephew following you around all the time, tell you how your phone works.
I'll learn one day. But so far, I'm doing pretty good.
Hey, you got here. This isn't easy.
Man, all right. I think I'm gonna chime off myself and act like I'm gonna get some sleep too, man. But
I
I want
think
to
I'm
thank
going to do that
everybody
too.
on here.
I want to thank everybody once again. This time, I'm really going to get a nap for about an hour before I go do Zoom. And God bless everybody and all of the young people, especially, and Rodney and everybody, and Craig, everybody. What a joy it has been for me. I'm overwhelmed
Thank
with
you,
joy.
George.
Appreciate you.
George.
Love
Thank
you,
you, everybody.
George.
And
Love
then
you, George.
don't
Thank
laugh
you,
at me
George.
because I don't know how to fucking get off. Okay, just hit a button somewhere, right?
Leave
The bottom of the
quietly.
page said leave quietly. Just tap that.
Oh, there it
That's
is.
funny.
Leave
Amanda
quietly.
Don't
doing
tell
Then
him. Don't
I
tell
can't
him.
read either. I can't read. It's in the bottom. Leave
When
quietly.
the fuck has George ever left a room quietly?
Okay, I'm gonna leave now. Okay, guys.
And he gone.
my name.